Have you ever had a moment when a simple question led to an answer that changed everything? That's what happened when Emma asked David if he was married. His response wasn't just unexpected, it was life-altering. If this story resonates with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us of the power of human connection. The first time Emma Mitchell saw David Carter at their children's school, she felt an immediate pull toward him. There was something about the way he knelt down to his daughter's level, straightening her backpack with such tenderness, before sending her off with a kiss on the forehead. Emma had been watching the school drop-offs for weeks now, having recently moved to Mapleton with her son after her divorce. As a kindergarten teacher at the school, she noticed things about parents, who was always rushing, who took the time to really see their child before parting ways for the day. David was definitely in the latter category. Emma's son, Tyler, had already run inside to meet his friends, leaving her a moment to gather her thoughts before heading to her classroom. That's when she locked eyes with David across the schoolyard. His smile was warm, genuine, reaching all the way to his eyes, the kind of smile that made you feel like you were the only person in a crowded room. Emma felt her cheeks flush as she smiled back, quickly looking away and pretending to check her phone. "First day jitters never really go away, do they?" a deep voice said beside her. Emma looked up to find David standing there, his hands tucked into the pockets of his worn jeans. Up close, she could see the faint lines around his eyes that spoke of both laughter and hardship. "Even when you're the teacher," Emma replied with a small laugh. "I'm Emma Mitchell, Tyler's mom. I teach kindergarten here." "David Carter," he said, extending his hand. "That was my daughter Lily, who just went in, 3rd grade. She's been talking about her new art teacher all weekend." "I think that might be you?" Emma nodded, feeling the warmth of his hand lingering even after he let go. "That's me. Lily seems wonderful. I'm looking forward to having her in class." The bell rang, signaling it was time for everyone to head inside. "I should go," Emma said reluctantly. "It was nice meeting you, Emma," David said, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Maybe I'll see you around." Over the next few weeks, their morning encounters became something of a ritual. A quick hello, a comment about the weather, a shared laugh over something one of their children had said. Emma found herself looking forward to these brief interactions more than she cared to admit. There was something about David that felt safe, familiar, like coming home after a long journey. It was during the school's fall festival that Emma finally worked up the courage to ask the question that had been on her mind. They were both volunteering at the face painting booth, their children off enjoying the festivities with friends. "You're really good at this," Emma said, watching as David carefully painted a butterfly on a little girl's cheek. His hands were steady, his focus complete. "Years of practice," he replied with a chuckle. "Lily went through a phase where she wanted her face painted every weekend. Eventually, I figured I'd better learn to do it myself or go broke paying for it." Emma smiled, handing him a new brush. Their fingers brushed, and she felt that now familiar flutter in her chest. The booth was momentarily empty, giving them a rare moment alone. "Are you married?" she asked suddenly, the words tumbling out before she could stop them. Emma immediately wished she could take them back, feeling her face grow hot with embarrassment. David's hands stilled. He set down the paintbrush and looked at her, his expression unreadable. The silence stretched between them, heavy with unspoken words. "No," he finally said, his voice quiet. "I'm not married. Not anymore." Emma waited, sensing there was more to his answer. "My wife Sarah died 3 years ago," David continued, his eyes fixed on the paintbrushes he was now methodically cleaning. "Brain aneurysm. It happened so fast. One minute we were planning our summer vacation, and the next—" His voice trailed off. Emma felt her heart constrict. "David, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have—" "It's okay," he interrupted gently. "It's a normal question, and it's getting easier to talk about." He looked up at her then, his eyes reflecting a pain that time had softened but not erased. Lily was only 5. She still asked about her mom every day. Not in a sad way anymore, just wanting to know stories to keep her memory alive. "That's beautiful," Emma said softly, "that you keep her memory alive for Lily." David nodded, a small smile touching his lips. "Sarah would have wanted that. She was an incredible mother, the kind who made up songs about brushing teeth and turned rainy days into indoor camping adventures." She sounds wonderful, Emma said, meaning it. She was, David agreed. But what about you? Are you married? Emma shook her head. Divorced. Almost 2 years now. Tyler's father, well, he decided family life wasn't for him. He moved across the country for a job and rarely calls. Tyler pretends it doesn't bother him, but I see how he checks his phone on birthdays and holidays. David's eyes held understanding rather than pity. Kids are resilient, but they shouldn't have to be. No, they shouldn't, Emma agreed. A group of children approached the booth then, ending their conversation. But something had shifted between them. A door opened that couldn't be closed again. As the festival wound down and they packed up the face painting supplies, David turned to Emma. Would you and Tyler like to join Lily and me for pizza sometime? Nothing fancy, just it might be nice for the kids. And us. Emma felt a smile spread across her face. We'd like that very much. That pizza dinner was the first of many shared meals. The children, initially shy around each other, quickly bonded over their mutual love of space exploration and terrible knock-knock jokes. Emma and David moved cautiously, both aware of the precious cargo they carried, their own hearts and their children's. Their first real date without the kids was to a local art gallery. David had remembered Emma mentioning her love of impressionist paintings during one of their morning conversations. As they walked through the quiet gallery, their hands occasionally brushing, Emma felt a lightness she hadn't experienced in years. Thank you for this, she said as they stood before a Monet. It's perfect. David looked at her, his eyes soft in the gallery's dim lighting. I wanted to get it right. It's been a long time since I've done this. Me too, Emma admitted. It's a little terrifying. Terrifying, David agreed with a small laugh. But also wonderful, Emma finished for him. Their relationship progressed slowly, deliberately. Both were acutely aware of what was at stake. It wasn't just about them, it was about creating something stable and nurturing for Tyler and Lily. The children were included in many of their outings. Hiking trips where Lily taught Tyler about different bird calls, movie nights where they built elaborate blanket forts in Emma's living room, Sunday mornings making pancakes in David's kitchen. 6 months into their relationship, they faced their first real challenge. Tyler had a meltdown after David gently corrected him during a baseball game in the backyard. You're not my dad, Tyler shouted, throwing down his glove and running into the house. Emma found him curled up on his bed, tears streaming down his face. He's going to leave too, Tyler sobbed, just like Dad did. And then Lily will go, and I'll lose my best friend. Emma's heart broke as she held her son. Oh, sweetheart. David is not going anywhere, and neither is Lily. How do you know? Tyler asked, his voice small. Because David isn't like your father, Emma said carefully. Some people aren't ready to be parents, and that's not your fault. But David, he's already a dad, and he's really good at it. He cares about you, Tyler, not because he has to, but because he wants to. Later that night, after the children were asleep, Emma shared Tyler's fears with David as they sat on her porch swing. I never want to overstep, David said, his face serious in the porch light. But I need you both to know that I'm all in, Emma. This isn't casual for me. You and Tyler, you've become family to us. Emma leaned her head against his shoulder, feeling the steady rhythm of his breathing. We feel the same way, but Tyler's been hurt so deeply. He's afraid to trust that people will stay, then we'll just have to show him day by day that we're not going anywhere, David said, pressing a kiss to the top of her head. The next morning, David arrived with a project, a treehouse for the backyard that he and Tyler could build together. Something permanent, he explained to the wide-eyed boy. Something that will still be here next year, and the year after that. Over the summer, the treehouse took shape, as did their blended family. There were difficult moments. Lily had a period where she became fiercely protective of her father's time, and Emma struggled with feelings of inadequacy when comparing herself to Sarah's memory. But they faced each challenge with honesty and compassion. On the anniversary of Sarah's death, Emma helped Lily create a memory box filled with photos and small mementos. David found them sitting on Lily's bedroom floor, surrounded by pictures. Mommy was so pretty, Lily was saying, holding up a photo of Sarah laughing on a beach. I think she would have liked you, Emma. You make good hot chocolate like she did. David stood frozen in the doorway, tears filling his eyes. Emma looked up, uncertain if she had overstepped. But David's smile, though sad, was genuine as he joined them on the floor. Your mom would have loved Emma, he told Lily, his voice thick with emotion. She always said that love grows when you share it. A year into their relationship, David took Emma back to the art gallery where they'd had their first date. As they stood before the same Monet painting, he took her hands in his. When Sarah died, I thought that was it for me, he said quietly. I couldn't imagine ever feeling this way again. But then you asked me that question at the fall festival. Are you married? And something shifted. It was like permission to acknowledge that my heart wasn't finished yet. Emma squeezed his hands, her own eyes filling with tears. I'm not asking you to replace anyone, David continued, just as I know I can't replace Tyler's father. But I am asking if you'll let me love you both, completely and without reservation, for the rest of our lives. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Inside was a ring with a simple sapphire stone, the color of Emma's eyes. Emma Mitchell, will you marry me? Will you help me show our children what it means to choose love, even after loss and disappointment? Emma's answer came through happy tears. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Their wedding was small and joyful, held in the backyard, where the treehouse stood as a testament to promises kept. Tyler served as best man, proudly standing beside David in matching suits. Lily scattered flower petals down the aisle, her dress twirling as she danced her way toward them. During the ceremony, David and Emma included special vows to each other's children. Tyler, David said, kneeling down to the boy's level, I promise to always respect the special place your dad has in your heart, while doing everything I can to earn my own place there. I promise to cheer the loudest at your games, to help with your homework even when it gets tough, and to always, always be someone you can count on. Emma then turned to Lily, taking the little girl's hands in hers. Lily, I promise to honor your mother's memory and to help keep her alive in your heart. I promise to listen to your stories about her, and to add my love to hers, not to replace it. I promise to be there for every triumph and every tear, and to love you as fiercely as if you had grown beneath my own heart. There wasn't a dry eye in the gathering, as the children then presented Emma and David with handmade gifts, drawings of their new family, all four of them holding hands beneath a smiling sun. The reception was filled with laughter and dancing. Tyler and Lily had choreographed a special dance that had everyone cheering. As the evening wound down, Emma found David standing at the edge of the yard looking up at the stars. Any regrets? She asked, slipping her arm around his waist. David pulled her close, pressing a kiss to her temple. Only that we can't freeze this moment forever. But then we'd miss all the ones still to come. Like our honeymoon to the beach next week? Emma teased. Like watching Tyler hit his first home run, David added, and seeing Lily perform in her first school play. Like growing old together, Emma said softly. Especially that, David agreed, turning to face her fully. You know, when you asked me if I was married that day, I almost didn't answer truthfully. It would have been easier to just say no and leave it at that. But something told me you were worth the whole truth, messy as it was. I'm glad you trusted me with your story, Emma said, with Sarah's story. And I'm glad you trusted me with yours and Tyler's, David replied. Some questions change everything, don't they? As they rejoined their celebration, surrounded by friends and their children's laughter, Emma thought about how a simple question at a face painting booth had led them here. Are you married? She had asked, never imagining how his answer would open the door to a love that was both unexpected and exactly what they all needed. Life wouldn't always be easy. There would be teenage struggles ahead, memories of loss that would sometimes resurface, challenges they couldn't yet foresee. But they would face them together, this family forged not from obligation but from choice, from the deliberate decision to love again after heartbreak. And years later, when people would ask them how they met, David would always begin the story the same way. She asked if I was married, and my answer stopped her cold. But what happened next? That's the real story, how two broken families found wholeness together. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue sharing stories that remind us all that second chances are possible, that families come in all forms, and that love, when given room to grow, can heal even the deepest wounds.